please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And to mention that the meeting actually started at 3:02 this afternoon. So let's begin with the roll call with Allison. I'll take one. Oh, yeah.
Cindy Richardson.
Becky Werner.
Seal Spugler.
Barbara Hill.
Sherry Smith.
Betty Simpson.
Lori Wolf.
Allison Geeson.
And of course, it's this time of year where we have a nomination for the new chair and the vice chair. But first, I want to welcome again Lori Wolf and Becky Werner, who have just been reappointed officially by the town council for another term serving on CELCAB. So congratulations
Cindy,
to
too.
both of you.
And Cindy, too.
Thank goodness.
Cindy, yes.
Thank you.
All right, so may I entertain a motion to elect a chair and vice chair? Becky?
I would like to nominate Barbara Hill for chair.
Thank you.
And I
Second it.
second that.
Okay. I wondered if since Sherry was vice chair last year,
Yes.
do you care to ever move up to chair?
Not
would you like
this
to
year.
continue as
Yeah,
vice?
I prefer vice.
Vice
It's
chair?
more of my personality.
Okay.
Vice? I love it.
She wants vice.
All right.
Any other nominations from the floor?
Well, then do we need to nominate also Sherry, or do we go on? I would like to nominate Sherry Smith for vice chair.
I second that.
Second, okay, both second. So we have a motion to have Barbara Hill serve again as chair with a second by Betty Simpson, I believe.
Yes, and I move nomination cease.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, Ms. Parliamentarian. And then we have a second for Sherry Smith as vice chair. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much, everyone. It's a pleasure to serve as chair yet again. I appreciate your vote of confidence, and maybe someday Sherry will move up, or somebody else will move up.
Somebody else will, yes.
Exactly.
So thank you. Thank you for your trust.
Yes, indeed. Okay, we have the approval of the minutes. I'm assuming everyone's had an opportunity to look over the minutes.
I'd move the approval of those August 22nd, 2019 minutes with actually we have Nancy McPhee's spelling is correct, except she should have a capital P. So I'd move the approval with that
Second?
notation.
I'll second.
Okay, thank you, Sherry. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the minutes have been approved unanimously. Thank you. The one that did the motion, I'm sorry, for the minutes, just a second ago. Was that you, Betty?
Betty,
Okay,
yeah.
thank you. So the public is invited to comment, and we do have Catherine Wallace in our audience, and we did miss you last month, I might say. So would you like to say a few words? None? Okay, thank you. Public comment is closed. On to item number 7 with the director's report, Allison.
So thank you, Barbara. So the director's report, we've had a big increase in school groups and our student tours. We're very excited in October to offer those, as well as the lecture series lineup that you see here. One change we did decide that was needed, I hope you will agree, is to charge $5 for members and $10 for non-members, since we do have good wine and good refreshments. And our lineup is pretty impressive. We thought that it would be appropriate this year to try out those costs. So Otherwise, Penny has done a great job helping to set up the speakers, and we're really looking forward to that starting in November. That will go through May of this year. So we're going to have that on the second Tuesday of every month. It is already on the calendar for the Women's Club, for the community calendar. So we're very excited to offer those. On the back of the director's report, we had an increase in revenue. We're very excited about seeing that. We did have, our website is getting used more and more, and we do have grant money to be able to redo some of the existing purchasing to make it easier and hopefully to invite more people to shop and to sign up. So we're very excited to have that in place. Our Arts and Attractions grant, we were awarded $8,200 this year with a grant match from the Friends of Mound House of $5,000 and then a town match for $2,000. So we're very excited to have that grant available again this year. And I do believe as Friends of the Mound House, Becky, some are going to the check reception to receive the check in November.
And if anybody else wants to go, call me.
So that's exciting. Fort Myers Beach Film Festival date, I've already got the date for Friday, April 24th. We're going to have dinner and a movie. We're going to have Jordan Webster there with the pizza oven again and have it more of a dinner and movie time. And then the building, 1921 building, will be 100 years come 2021. So we want to have a Mound House Centennial celebration that I already want to start planning, a 2 to 3 day event, each day a different focus, and then I can apply for the Arts and Attractions event marketing grant for that. So we're already trying to get a schedule together because that will be due this spring. And so we are getting speakers together, activities and programs, and we hope to be able to collaborate with other like organizations on the island and in Fort Myers and on Sanibel to make it even a bigger event. So we're going to stay tuned for more details, but that is something, if you have ideas, please let me know. If you have some good suggestions or know some really good speakers or anything like that, the team is already starting to write big ideas down, so we're very excited about that. And that concludes my report.
Two questions. One on the lecture series, it's January 14th.
Yes, that was a typo, yeah.
And secondly...
And Jan did catch that. It's corrected on the calendar.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes. Thanks for catching that.
Secondly, with that events grant, I would assume that there would also be a match to that grant?
You know, I don't know about that, and I'll have to research.
Could you
I'll research
do that and let Ellen know so we can sort of stick that in our...
Oh, sure.
Thank you.
Yes, I will check on the match. Thank you, Becky.
Who's sharing the 2021?
Seal Spuler. These numbers are remarkable, just remarkable. But I also thank you very much when I had asked for the numbers of the students, the college students and the school groups. I found that just interesting when I put them all together, because what has this past few months and things, when everything was supposed to be slow, there were so many groups that you had that came that it was just remarkable. And it wasn't a slow season, I don't believe at all, when you see what these numbers are. I really tell you that it's handled so well.
Thank you, Seal. Cindy, did you have a comment? Question?
I was wondering who was chairing the committee for the Centennial celebration? Not that far along.
This is just like, we need to start the process.
okay.
So
All
we are very early in those stages, yeah.
Okay.
Cindy would like to share.
I was going to say that. Thank you, Barbara. Do you know anybody who would like to volunteer? It would be super fun.
Imagine it will be.
Any other questions for Allison on the director's report? Thank you very much, Allison. She gave the same report to the Friends board meeting, so she also got enthusiastic response and support from the Friends at the meeting about these sterling numbers. She's doing a great job. Allison is doing a great job. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
The National Register celebration, of course, you know that's coming up November 14th.
Yes, so any of you have, I think I got a lot of your RSVPs from the Friends group, but if you have not RSVP'd, Betty, I don't know that I have you down. There's a few of you that I don't have, but I got some of you. Cindy, I think I've got you. Anyway, Becky Seal, Barbara, but please let me know because we need the caterer to be able. We have right now 103 people that have RSVP'd for that, so.
And Miffy told me she's coming, so that's another one.
Okay, so really, you all need to call, if you don't mind calling the Mound House, and so they put it
all
on the
right,
list.
I'll do that.
It's easier for them to be able to, so I'm very glad she's coming. So the update is, part of what I gave you today, just the sheet that has, when I was meeting with the Friends of the Mound House, I really want people to have a name tag that has something on there that sparks conversation and also the role that they have played. Many people play many, many roles, but we were trying to find out the right wording for when you see a name tag and it says advocate. You say, oh, hi, my name is Bill, my name is Allison, you're an advocate, tell me about that. It's to be an icebreaker and to engage people so they kind of understand what a role or roles people have played. There was a good discussion at the Friends group, but I had some questions because some things came up and I looked at our list. I love advocate. I think that's a really great word. But then, people were saying, well, it should just be elected official, but I really want to distinguish Lee County and Town of Fort Myers Beach officials because I think that would, do you all agree?
Absolutely.
And then, Friends of Mound House, and then, of course, CELCAB. Could we just put CELCAB, or do we need to put the whole thing out? What do you all think?
I think
The acronym, maybe it'd be good.
Right. Good thought, Becky.
another way to do is just say Mound House Advisory Board.
Okay, Mound House Advisory Board.
Because really, it's because there are going to be a lot of people that aren't from the beach, hopefully that will be coming, so we can get them excited. And we want to be able to clarify, that is an actual committee, a board.
Do you all agree with that? Do you like that wording for? Okay, so we have docent, but we also have volunteer, because those are different things. So I wanted to have both of those down. And then preservationist, because, we're going to have people from Lee Trust. Hopefully, we have some others from some groups that are into preservation. A supporter, of course, we talked about. Should it be descendant or family descendant?
Can you put pictures in there?
I can't promise that,
Okay.
Becky, but I will put it on the list.
If we don't have very many descendants, I'm just thinking Jackie might really like having a picture of her dad on there.
Should it just say descendant instead of family descendant?
Yes.
So it should just say descendant?
Yeah.
Okay. Town staff, maybe it should just say staff. What do you think?
FMB staff.
FMB staff. Okay. The other one, archaeologist, people, and that was part of the restoration process, like Fowler, if Rob Senior and Junior come, they were part of the restoration. So community partner, those would be like Fishtail Marina, if they come, they're also supporter. Pure Florida Boat Tours are going to come. That is a community partner. So we do have a lot of partners coming that have supported us in our programming. Conservationists. Okay, so we have people from like Bonita Historical Society, Estero, hopefully will come. What should I say about people who are in, preserving the history?
Can you say Estero Historical Society or
I don't want
FMB?
to, no, because it
Okay.
needs to be simple. It's going to be too confusing when they check in to find so I was wanting to do a few categories and then let them choose, but what do you all think about the wording for that? I was drawing a blank today. I put
just
supporter
think-
of history, but I mean, what?
Supporter of history is kind of interesting. People
you
would
like
say,
that?
what history is it? Wouldn't they? That's kind of a nice way.
Or just,
Historical
Lee County
interest.
history?
Well,
really say?
Historic-
some of
historical
them are
soc-
from Collier, though. I mean,
Historical
okay.
Society, just
Southwest
Historical
Florida,
Society?
Southwest Florida, SWFL.
I just
history.
think supporter of
Florida
history is just neat.
We all support it. Some of us are history.
okay.
Well, there are a lot of dual.
Okay, we
yeah,
gotta
so
decide on
obviously
that.
that's- Yeah.
Okay,
Well, if it's on you, though.
And I didn't want to say historian because that means something different.
right.
So I was drawing a blank on that one. We have a couple of historical societies, of course, that we, you know,
Historical interest?
should they just be a community partner? I
History
mean,
lover.
I know I had history lover, but I took it out.
that's all.
Is there anyone coming?
There's two different historical societies that are not our island. I haven't heard from AJ or anybody from
you
Estero.
haven't?
But you're saying
heard
that
from
all of
Fran?
them, are from Southwest
I
Florida.
better get on it.
That's 5
Is
counties.
Bonita still in?
That's Lee County.
Okay.
Bonita's Lee County.
And
Collier-
then
Naples
Estero is
That's
as
a Lee
well?
County as well.
Okay, so I guess we could say, Lee County what?
Lee
History?
County historic groups. Historical groups or,
That's lengthy. Yeah.
How about societies of history?
well, that could be it too, or local, I think
That cover
history
it,
groups.
societies of history?
I think society would be superfluous though. Oh, well, are they all historical societies?
I'll look, but yes, so far,
Well,
they are.
then you can say Lee County Historical Society, as Seal mentioned, yeah.
But then they'll think that.
No, I'm
Oh,
gonna
there
make these
is,
as
but I
short as
don't know if
possible
they're
because it's gonna be dark and nobody can read. And so
Exactly.
my goal is to be short so people can at least read and not have to get right up in your face and it can be kind of, yeah. Okay, so what would TD staff be? Because we're getting Tamara and Nancy McPhee. Would they be tourism advocate? Would they be
No, I think
advocate?
that's, their staff, and I think that should be Lee County VCB or TTC, however you want to word it.
TB ought to,
Ought to be enough.
yeah.
I would think so.
Know what TBT
Okay.
Yeah, people know what that is.
What about people who are with a
Will
guest?
they know?
Right.
What about the plus ones that are, what do we do with just guests? Don't give them anything?
Just do a guest, just have a guest
Just a guest?
sticker.
That's what I put.
spot that they could add.
They could put whatever. What about Rendo Research Center staff? Cindy Bear's coming. What do we, are they our community partner? They're like, what would you say that she would be? They're definitely a
Only
community
one
partner,
coming
but,
from that group? From Randall, only one coming?
you know, there's only like one or two staff there. Her
Right.
and Linda.
That's Cindy and,
Linda. So Cindy's coming.
Randall Research. Randall staff, that's it.
yeah, that would be enough.
Okay. And then elected official, if we get anybody that's, you know, from,
I think you're,
I know, but if we get somebody that's outside Lee County, we invited state and, I mean,
That's what I wondered. Is anyone coming from that, that you had to contact to even get this going?
no, I sent Max and all them, and I don't know if you all know, but like, I had a workshop for the Florida Communities Trust. They've gone from 25 to 3 staff.
My gosh.
So for these kind of programs, and this happened to me in Pinellas County, it's very unfortunate, but when the state budget gets cut, they really need their community services to stay in place, so they cut elsewhere. So a lot of the program staff has been cut, and they have no travel. And that was, you know, so I don't know, don't take it personally, but I don't think that
right.
they're gonna be able to travel. And I
It's a
haven't
long
heard
way.
from
Yeah,
anybody.
it's
And
a long way
They would
for a
have to
night.
pay for it themselves
And
because
it's
there
stay
is no
overnight.
money in the budget for
Right.
things like this for them. I mean, they've just been really cut
it is a shame.
pretty severe, so. Okay, so thank you for,
Were our comments helpful? Does that
yes,
narrow the
it
list
is
down somewhat?
very helpful. Also, we are working on, you know, the little giveaway. Remember, we talked about the token? So
Love that.
this is, I'll pass this around. This is not the actual size. This is weird. I know this pink blank is the actual size. It's actually bigger than their sample that they gave us, but it will be the Mound House, and it says listed on the National Register of Historic Places, Mound House. So it is a bookmark.
And it's classy.
It is. So you see you can use it to be able to put your book over. We would like to, and Barbara, thank you for helping with this so far. We're going to meet afterwards, but we have a little draft of just something. This would be the giveaway to thank people when they leave. So anyway, the only thing I did, Barbara, I thought it was fantastic, was I added the Friends of Mount House to that.
Absolutely.
So this covers pretty much everybody. So we want to do a ribbon or something beautiful and elegant to hold the bookmark together. So Barbara and I are going to meet afterwards to do the details. She so graciously accepted to help me with that. So the update, I've got the caterer, the tent. We have professional jazz musicians, which I'm very excited about, which I think will have a very nice ambiance on the ground. So we're getting everything ready, and I do need some volunteers for some things, and I wanted to talk to CELCAB first about that. I need some volunteers to help with the flowers, the fresh flower centerpieces that we have. We will have 6 round tables that people, okay, Lori,
all
you're
look.
in. Lori,
I'm
thank
in.
you. Lori, thank you. And then we have, let's see, 14 arrangements to make. Some of them will be small because they'll be for the high top tables, but I think flowers make such a really nice detail. Okay, so I envision that when people come up to the Mound House, there's 2 tables on either side of the pathway that they can check in and they can get their name tag or whatever lanyard, whatever, envision them. I need at least 4 volunteers, 2 per each table, to help with that. And then I would really like to also have volunteers to be at the tables to say thank you so much for coming, and on their way out, they can give them their little thank you. So, that's, probably 2 and 2, that's 6 volunteers, and then with the flowers. So
I think that would be wonderful.
you'll do check-in? Cindy, check-in.
I'll do check-in.
Sherry and Betty.
And I will be whatever you want.
Okay, great. Yes, but we've got somebody, yeah, I've actually got staff coming to do that. Probably Keith or Tony, probably Keith is gonna. Okay, so check in, and then Becky, you said you would do whatever you need. So I'm gonna say Cindy, Sherry, Betty, and Seal will do check in. Becky, you might do the thank you for coming. I'll send that out. I think that, Lori, I'll get with you on when we can do the flowers. Maybe earlier that day we could do them?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'll get with you before then.
Yeah, and, I'll order the flowers and all.
Wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful. Okay, I'll get with you sooner than
So
later.
yeah.
Yes. Sherry, do you have any vases?
Do I
I can't
ever?
imagine you having any.
I have a million.
Do you have some that we can, I think it's beautiful to have different ones, I think, with the lighting, and
I do.
it's
I have
super
different
fun.
colors. I've got.
Okay.
How many would
All
you
right.
have? About 12?
Lori, do you have some? 14. I need
It really
14.
depends on what we're doing, so we should talk first.
Let's do,
and
because a
then-
lot of the arrangements are
let me
very
know.
low. You
Right,
don't want
that's
to
why
be,
you don't want vases
Right.
necessarily,
You want-
and I'll just get the designer bowls
oh,
for
perfect,
those,
okay.
okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll watch.
Okay, thank you very much for that. I think that concludes the update. Do you all have any questions about anything? The turnout
My
is,
name down, I hope.
you're the
Okay,
first one on
'cause I
the
was talking.
RSVP list.
I'm welcoming, okay.
Awesome.
Well, and as this text goes around, this is my first draft, which I gave to Allison. Allison suggested, obviously, putting Friends of the Mound House on there as well. But if you all have any comments or input, just let me know, because we'll finalize that this
I
afternoon.
thought it captured really everything that I wanted them to know about how much we appreciate, because the mayor is going to introduce Bill Grace, which I think is the perfect speaker
Good.
to speak on this occasion, considering his family history and also all the years that he helped to make sure that the National Register. So I'm very, very moved and pleased that he's going to speak. But it is not, we're not going to individually thank people, because if you miss somebody, and then it just becomes, so it's just going to be, we invited you here, you're here because we say, which is what
But
that
this
says.
card will provide.
So, yeah, so I reassured him that in the card, and I sent him a draft of that, so he knew, but he agreed, to be able to thank would just be really, that can be very hard. So he's agreed to speak. We're going to have, so we thought at 6:40. So the event starts at 6 o'clock. So I was thinking at 6:40 would be his presentation. And it would be over, he said maybe 15 minutes. So say by 7 o'clock, that gives another hour for people to chat and I really hope, and I should, the marker will be there for him to unveil. So people can see, and then it'll be placed later.
Wouldn't that be wonderful?
Oh, and how smart to place it later.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Digging those holes would be really tough.
so I thought that would be a pleasant, and I'm not really going to tell him about that until the night, so then he can, it'll be a little surprise, so.
The wonderful part about your plan of what you have here, right from the beginning, this doesn't look like a stilted thing because of your idea about the tags and with Bill talking and just what you're saying. This is just really going to be, it's in a home, actually, in a house. And I just love the way you have geared it that way because it's just not going to be stilted. I can just see people just asking questions of who is who and everything. The whole idea, and with this wonderful gift, it's a complete.
But it will be
is.
fancy.
Oh, it's classy.
So the other thing that I'm getting things together is for some of the tables with the centerpieces with the flowers are some photos from the past. So people can, reminisce about some of the projects and the phases that the Mound House has gone through for all these years. I can't give you any details because they have to be windproof because, if they're going to be out, I just wanted that piece to be able to have as an extra, because people love to reminisce about some of the time that they have spent at the Mound House.
I have one question, can I ask, because it hasn't come up. When they're there, will they go down into the mound because it's at nighttime? And I just wonder.
We know because we have no lighting.
That's what I
and
wondered.
And no.
So it's going to be on there
It's
because
going to
in
be just
November.
like, that's right, yeah. Because see, sunset is at 5:37 on that day. The event starts at 6. So it really needs to be up on the top of the mound.
Right, it would seem. I just
Yeah.
wondered.
Yeah. But everybody that's coming, Jacqueline will come another time. Everybody's already seen.
Right.
Yeah.
How many people are you expecting so far?
So far, the deadline for RSVP is November 7th. We already have 106 people.
Okay, and so,
We did
When
about
Bill-
175 invitations.
Is that pieces of paper?
No, those were, no, 175 with a guest. Yeah. Because we were thinking 300,
so is this presentation that Bill's going to be giving outside, not inside?
It has to be outside.
That's what I'm wondering.
And
Okay.
I was talking to him, we haven't decided the exact location, but due to when the sunset is and how dark it is, we were going to try to figure out a good place for it to happen. So,
Okay, and will you have adequate lighting out there for that?
yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Just a quick question, I've been gone. Where did we decide to put the marker?
We haven't made that
Oh,
decision
we haven't
yet,
made it yet?
no.
Okay, all right.
You didn't miss that much.
Okay, good.
We were going to take a field trip out and look at it.
And look,
Have
yeah.
people look at it.
Those go back around.
I can just.
Put it over there.
And Bill is saying,
know.
it can't be there.
Can't be, I know.
So if you all have any suggestions on where the presentation should be, let me know, because it is going to be dark. And you think in the tent? Okay, so the 20 by 30 tent, but people can spill out of it, cannot fit 106 people. But I do think if they were kind of on that little patio. Yeah, because the front of the house, it would just be, Bill would be in the house, you'd be looking at the light, and I don't know that would be. No, that's the lighting, we already have those.
For some reason, I thought we were going to have a tent down by the water.
Not by the water, absolutely, no. The tent is like for the VIP. That's where the caterers, it's going to be just like the VIP. So-
Okay, it's going to be right at the back of the house up on the top of
Yes,
the hill.
yes.
Okay, but you're all going to have a tent there.
The tent is going to be there with bistro lighting. See, down there, we're not ready yet for that because we have no electrical and we can't, the ADA and just the logistics for the caterer doesn't work right now.
Okay, but you're planning on
yeah.
that. Is that in our strategic plan for long-range planning?
The special events is on there.
It is, well, special events as far as the policies, but the actual, what it requires for us to be operational?
No, we didn't go in that detail. But when we review it, if you all want to put that in, that would be a good time to do that.
Right, because
Because when
obviously
you
that
put,
takes budget
here's the other
dollars.
thing I need to tell you about that strategic plan. I'm going through this with Board Cab. Anything you add gets a dollar sign, meaning a position has to be added in order to do that, because staff cannot continue to put more and more on their plates with how we're growing. Just so you know, so we're going to talk about what would be required of that. It's all good, but I can't just say, sure, we're going to do, I mean, we are maxed out right now. So I think it would be great to have somebody to be able to do the special events, to coordinate those details for those special events, Barbara, for the Mound House, because that's not something that me or my staff can do at this time. It's electrical, I mean, it just takes a lot of detail, and it would be great to have it done, but that's not something we could do in-house. We could get somebody to.
No, and I understand
Yeah.
that. I mean, it's not really necessarily a budgetary concern, like, say, for example, this year or even next year. It
No,
is
but-
part of our long-range planning.
Yes.
So, say, within the next 4 years,
I
we want
know,
to have
right.
that tent facility
Right.
available by the water with the appropriate
Right.
lighting, electricity, and so forth.
Right, yeah, but I think it's good, though, to plant the seed of the budgetary, so when, just like in some of the other strategic plans, that they know that some of it costs some money,
Well, and to be sure,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
unless we identify what our wants are, we're never going to get
Right,
it.
right.
So that's why I
So
purposed.
make a note, because we'll be reviewing that plan, we review it every 6 months, and anything like that, like Barbara, let's get it on there, so we know what our need is
That's
now
what
that
we're
we've
working
had,
toward.
and we don't forget about it.
Okay.
For sure, for sure.
With all of this planning that you've got, and then 2 days later, you've got the one for the public, right, on the 16th? This is on the 14th, and then is the public invited on the 16th? Is that,
The 16th, and I had scheduled some programs, and each and every one of them have fallen through. So it's just free admission, and the educational staff will do programming, but it's not going to be as big as I wanted it to be because everything has fallen through. So
okay. I just
It's-
wondered how you could do that on top of this.
it's going
That's
to
the
be,
only thing.
free admission. They're going to be doing some programs all day, and just, so. if
That's a wise way to do it. I think
Yeah,
that's the
I
same.
know. I really there was something I was envisioning, and it didn't quite make it, but that's okay. It's still going to be a lot of fun.
Well, they're invited. That was the whole point of it, that
Yes.
to get them there for that,
Yes.
Fine, okay.
I think you could also use docents as part of the
Oh,
programming.
for sure,
okay.
absolutely. Have you not gotten an email about that from the staff? Thanks, Becky. Make a little note. Any more questions about the National Register, or good comments, or anything?
Hey, it looks like we're all ready to rock and roll for November 14th.
I think so,
bet.
too. Now, we're all helping at that as far as what you're saying, but the thing is, you have everything all set. There's nothing you really need from us?
No, because the caterer comes in, the rental company puts up the tent, Jordan comes in, my staff puts the chairs and tables that we have. We're doing the no. Thank you, Seal. I'll let you know. I do need volunteers to help assemble these when we get the page marks in. So I'll send something out and see if you all want to help do that once Barbara and I figure it out.
Yeah, bring the wine. What time would you like us there?
Probably about between 4:30 and 5. Does that sound good, or 5 o'clock? 5 o'clock? It's at 6. People usually start arriving a little bit early, but
I hope the muley grass lets.
I know.
It's
Have
so
you all seen it?
beautiful.
It's really
It's
beautiful
so
right now.
gorgeous.
It is gorgeous. At the church? Yeah, church in 216. everywhere. I mean, she didn't restrict it on that. Wednesdays is the only day we have things like that they have dinners at the, but most of the time it's open. We'll have base there, just like we did for the last one, and they'll be directing traffic for us, yeah.
They're not there when volunteers start to arrive and should be parking at the church. We can get volunteers to do the roundabout from the church for a half hour.
Thank you, Becky. If notified.
Okay, one of the main topics of this afternoon's meeting is the discussion that we need to have and consensus on this marketing need that we're looking at. And you've got this paper, this report of what the agendas will involve, the questions. So who would like to start this off? Should we start off maybe with Lori and just kind of go through with what you feel are our priorities and what we want them to think about when it involves the Mound House? And is this also for Newton Park?
Yes, so
as well?
if you look at this long sheet of paper first, that was with your packets. So these are all of the, highlights of the town for the marketing need. And yes, Barbara, you'll see it is Newton and Mound House for CELCAB. And the town manager had directors fill this out to kind of get a feel. Of course, I'm the neediest. And I added like 4 other columns in because, I don't do Twitter. I don't think I ever will. We do Instagram. And so I put some columns in, things like that. This will give you an idea of just our draft, that just off the top of our head, but we really need you all to be able to add to this. And then you see the email from the town manager describing just what Barbara was describing. This came from RMA, the consulting firm that is doing the branding. And so the chair, Barbara, will go and meet with them. And it would be really great if, like she said, you all could come to consensus on what you would like to see for Mound House and Newton.
I didn't get the beginning part of this, so, because I know the town's doing this whole branding, marketing idea. So each individual group like us is going to have their own, or wouldn't we fit under what they're doing? I don't understand.
So in order for them to understand all the facets of the town, they need to know all the facilities. CELCAB represents 2 of the facilities that needs marketing. And so that's why CELCAB has Mound House and Newton. What do we see and how do we answer these questions for that, for those 2 facilities? Because in order for them to be able, because their contract has social media, I mean, they're here to help us market all of the areas that we have in the town. And so we are 2 of many that they want to make sure that they consider and then they put into the mix of the marketing. Does that make sense, Cindy?
Go ahead and start.
Not particularly.
Okay, just checking.
No, she wants to be last.
Since I'd started over here at the beginning of the meeting, I thought it would be over here, but who would like to go ahead and start the conversation then? All right, Becky.
But I thought that I wasn't limiting it to Mound House and Newton, which came Mound House, Newton, number 1 and 2, Bay Oaks, the beach, Matanzas, the library, and the historical cottage.
Well, that's not a town of Fort Myers Beach facility. This is only properties owned and operated and managed by the town of Fort Myers Beach, not Lee County. That would be
So
a
no
different-
Matanzas.
No, that's not owned by the town of
Right,
Fort
right,
Myers
right.
Beach.
How about the library?
No, it's
No,
not
that's
owned
a
by the
separate-
town of,
that's a
it's a
separate
totally
line item.
separate, right.
As
So-
is the Historical Society.
That's right. So this little list here has just some of the departments that were on there, and that's where they would be. And this is, just for information as well. But, yeah, no, that would not be included, Becky.
I think the overriding concern that I have with regard to both the Newton Park and the Mound House is there isn't an adequate tie-in between what we are doing with staff and the marketing and the website that we have and the town of Fort Myers Beach's website. And obviously, we have our own logo the Mound House has its own logo, which obviously, remember, we all worked very hard to finalize, and I think it really has withstood the test of time. It's been a very effective logo. But I would like to see this group get a better handle on how the town and the Mound House is synced, not only with visuals. We don't have the visuals of the Mound House on the town's website. I guess you know that, and that's a problem. There should be a link. There should be more communication between the websites, the two respective websites. And,
Wait, I'm sorry, Barbara, you said there's not a link to our website on the town's website? There.
well.
Oh, but it's very, yeah, I know what you mean.
The visual
Yeah.
linking, right.
Yes, I understand.
So I think that could be better. I think the purpose of this marketing group coming in is that so many people who not only live here but visit don't understand all of the incredible facilities that the town provides for. So the idea is to have some kind of better branding so that people will have a better idea of what Bay Oaks provides, what our Mound House provides, what Newton Park provides, which is basically all culture, parks, and recreation,
Yeah.
right? Culture, park, CPR. CPR.
Oh, I didn't tell them that. That's.
And
the
I
new
think
department.
now that we've kind of coalesced that, the idea of grouping those three entities together to say this is something we as a town are very proud of, that separate and apart from the business community, separate and apart from homeowners and real estate, it is our municipal amenity programming for residents and visitors. And however best they're going to be able to achieve that and provide branding that makes our work more visible, then that will be a very successful program on their part. So those are, and I think in terms of specifics, what each one of these entities provide with Newton Park and Bay Oaks and Mound House, everything has its own unique identity, but they all are connected because we're all town-owned. And so, the chamber does one thing. The chamber does its thing for business, and they've got their agenda. We as a town have our agenda, and we need to make it known what it is that we provide. So the hints of these, so however you feel that it can be improved upon is what we're really sort of talking about today.
Well, I've been trying to think about the thing is because I recently had a talk in Naples, and the people didn't even know about it. And in Bonita, my daughter has been doing some things. How do you get, we're in boundaries. People are interested in things that go Bonita, Naples peoples, or Naples.
Yeah, right.
And when people say about, oh, you're on the beach, how do you get, and even to Sanibel, this is such a national, to be on the national registry on this town, on our beach has such a tremendous way, but how do you get that knowledge into Naples and to Bonita and into Sanibel? Because look at the people we have all over from other states. I mean, goodness, I think half of Minneapolis came. How do we do that? But how many people come from Naples and Bonita? That's the thing that's been bothering me. I don't know how, because people from Naples are from Naples. Do they come to the beach? You don't find that. How can you do that?
Actually, some do. I've had some this summer that did,
Yes,
that
I
it
have
was a
too.
good opportunity for them to come. The locals seem to come in the summer,
Right.
but
So,
not a lot.
Yeah,
but
that's why we hired a professional consultant, because they figure out ways to reach audiences. That's what the target audiences are. So that's what you say, we would like to reach these audiences. And then the experts, figure out different ways to reach those audiences. So that's, the exciting part is that we've got a really good company. And Barbara, you were on that selection committee. And RMA is really great. I have all the faith that they would be able to do that. So they just want to know, just like you said, Seal, what are your concerns about, being visible and, who do you want to know about you? So that would be a great thing to share with them. We would just like our surrounding counties to know about us to start.
How many here on this board continually get mail delivered or emails delivered that talk about Fort Myers and they completely exclude the word beach on their address?
Always.
Right?
Always.
And you give them the correct address, it very clearly says Fort Myers Beach. What happens? They come back. You say, okay, I want to renew my membership. Okay, you live in Fort Myers? No, I live on Fort Myers Beach. Well, what's the difference? Right? I mean, this has been going on for years.
But now, to that point, the county is fostering it by saying the beaches of Sanibel and Fort Myers.
And that's the VCB. You're absolutely right.
It's like,
You're
seriously?
absolutely right.
When the Board of Realtors, we had our own out here at Fort Myers Beach, and I think we probably had 170 members, but we were a very strong, cohesive group because we were beach, and our businesses were here. We merged with Fort Myers. At that time, we were told that those of us on the executive board would still be on their board for a 3-year period. And so they took our,
Identity is what.
they took our identity, they took our building, they took everything of ours. And the problem was that we had a great group out here, but a lot of them wanted to expand. And they really wanted to deal in Naples or in Fort Myers or in Sanibel. They wanted to get, and so it was part of our own group that splintered. But what they did, you can't take half of them and leave half of them. So of course we did. We just, oh, now stop that. You know, I turned it off. It is turned off. Okay, you turn off too. No more gadgets, kids. I can't handle it. But anyway, the point is that we lost our identity for the beach. And now we have over 7,000 realtors in our board. And again, you've lost your identity.
7,000 realtors in Lee County?
That includes, yeah, because it's part
Collier
of
is
Sanibel,
Col-
it's Cape Coral.
Okay, yes.
We have members, you know, somebody from Naples, even though they're Collier County, you know, they can be involved with us. So I just, I know we talk about that this is just the beach. I think it's important that we keep that. You know, it's just a different point of view because we can be gobbled up, and we were in that particular instant. Now, of
Great
course,
example.
it's fine. Yeah. But you are just one of many, many, and you know, it's just a totally different feel that you get from when we were the beach board. So I don't like to have us think, well, gee, we are the beach, and we are. And I think that that's important. But I think for other people to know that we're very proud of what we've got out here. And
Obviously, others are too.
yeah.
That they
and-
take it for their own.
You bet. And
Exactly.
they want to come and learn about it. So my only point was just to make sure that we don't lose our own identity.
Cindy, do you have comments?
Well, no, along with that, I think, as you're speaking, if we're a family here, you know, that sense of community in the family, especially off-season, you really, I mean, you know most people.
Right.
And we're more beach, we have more beach here than anybody else has. You know, that's our.
That's a good point.
No, it's the best beach around.
Saying in terms of miles, the most beach,
And accessible, between Naples, Bonita, and Sanibel, we have the best and most accessible beach.
accessible or the longest
All of it,
stretch?
all of it.
That's
Because when you
interesting.
think about where you have to try to, like a Bonita, there's only a couple of places that you can go and
Oh,
park.
so you're talking about publicly accessible
Publicly
beach.
accessible.
Okay, that's
I'm
different
sorry.
from the coastline. I see what you're saying.
Publicly
Okay.
accessible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the other thing, when talking about describing, certainly we're laid back here. I think it's a more laid back feel and a funky, it's always the funky thing.
That is a very important thing, because people, that's one of the things that they came here and they want, and we're hearing now from people, don't change Times Square, keep it that way. If you've got Margaritaville, that's wonderful, but be sure not to change Times Square, which I thought was so interesting.
Fine, funky.
It's a feeling.
Everybody
It's hard to
raises
describe. It's ephemeral.
I can say what it isn't, but it's not like Sanibel or Hilton Head where you go and you feel like, or Naples. I mean, I
Yeah.
think I had to be sort of dressed up to go to Naples, It's just that laid back, easygoing, relaxed.
That's a very good point, I think.
How many of you on Facebook saw the recent, and I think it was also in the news press, the recent story that Fort Myers is considered like the best place to retire? Did you see all that last week? And what were the pictures that they showed that illustrated that? What were they? They were all the
You bet.
beaches. Let me give you another example. The city of Fort Myers, now, that's like 25,000 people. It's a very clearly defined city. They took city funds and they produced a book, a publication. And the publication was like a picture book of all the things that's so wonderful about the city of Fort Myers. What did they do? They put pictures of Fort Myers Beach in there, funded by by the city of Fort Myers tax dollars, mind you. Wow. And I'm sorry?
Is that the one Eileen Saffron
It
did
is.
recently? I've got a copy. I'll have to look, I didn't look at, yeah, I
I
know which
mean,
one you're talking
I
about.
took offense the minute I saw it, and I just, it raised my hackles. But it's so endemic of what it is that's happening. TDC and even municipalities like the city of Fort Myers decides that they want to capitalize on our paradise and market their town. And we used to be called Estero Island here many years ago. Do you remember that? It was Estero Island.
You bet.
So it could very well be that we're not the only group that's going to be having this conversation. It's not inconceivable that they could change the name of Fort Myers Beach. It could be
I certainly
Estero
hope
Island.
so.
I would love it. I would love it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I'm tired of being,
But Estero Island isn't much
Crescent
better
Beach.
now because Estero has established themselves.
City
True, but
of
it could
Estero.
be.
Crescent
But actually,
Crescent Beach works.
geographically, we are
there's another
closer
one on
as
the
the
East
bird
Coast.
flies to Estero than we are to Fort Myers.
That's
We're
true.
18 miles from the city of
That's
Fort
right.
Myers.
Estero-
18 miles.
We could be a sterile isle. or
Island,
something.
even better,
Yeah,
island.
yeah, I mean,
Well, I don't think it's going to be up to us. It's not going to be up to us.
but I feel strongly
I
about
do think, though, more and more people, because of your marketing in the news press, for every Sunday to have something about the mangroves and that, and you have, when they had the back page of the news press with a picture of the Mound House, whoever you have marketing, that people will come in from Fort Myers because they see it. So the marketing in the press has been very helpful to us. Don't you agree?
Okay, other ideas? Let's go through some of the questions. What are the assets to be maintained, exposed, highlighted? We've really sort of talked about that. We also talked about the target audiences, as Seal mentioned, about the idea that we need to make sure that our local community understands what it is that we provide. What's being underutilized or underappreciated. I think the fact that we have these public access areas along the beach is definitely a plus for us. Any other ideas on what could be better capitalized in terms of our amenities?
I added special events venues. I mean, it's something we are working on. But between Mound House, Newton, and even Bay Oaks, those are properties that could be used for bigger events that would bring more people in. And that's certainly a work in progress.
Well, and actually, that is already a work in progress with regard to our strategic plan for Bay Oaks, is that indeed, we are revisiting that entire property to determine to be much more diverse with the programming. Community center, building a new community center, reevaluating the usage of those open parks, so, yeah.
And there's special, I mean, there's events going on here all the time. I mean, it's like, I mean, aren't you sometimes exhausted? And you have to say no to things because you could be going out every night of the
Too
week.
many things.
There's so much going on, and it's wonderful that they have at least that community calendar now. That's a great asset, that we can at least coordinate some of these events.
Well, I think one thing that we have, and this is just overall, but just as far as an area, and I'm sure other places have it too, but we have the most gorgeous sunsets of any place ever. And, you know, you never see that kind of advertised where we've got Newton that's right on the water, but our sunsets are just a main attraction, I think. And sunrises, well, I wouldn't know about those.
Yeah, that's right.
If they made that a little later in the day, it would be
Yeah,
better.
right, so, but anyway, I think it's just something overall for our area that often is overlooked. You know, you hear about Hawaiian, ours are 8 times better than Hawaiian sunsets. Anyway, just a thought.
Let's go to number 3. What are the obstacles?
Traffic,
Traffic, yeah.
parking, red tide,
Red
blue-green,
tide,
blue-green
red tide.
algae.
Hurricanes,
Oh, yeah.
What was, I'm sorry?
construction.
Hurricanes, construction.
And then I wondered,
Global warming.
I mean, I guess this is not part of the, you know, the chamber has their own thing, but there's sort of dichotomy or something between the people who live here and the business community. Is Fort Myers Beach business friendly? And I don't know if that's, but, you know, if we're not, and people, and businesses keep leaving for whatever reason, it's going to be less fun to be here.
Are businesses leaving because we're not friendly?
No, I don't know. This, you know, mostly I hear this at council meetings.
Well,
But you're going to always hear that.
And that
That's
is
just endemic
But
with government.
if you see how the influx of visitation, you know, it's hard for certain businesses that offer certain services to be as busy in the summer as it is in the season. So I think that it's a careful balance of any business to be able to survive the months that you're doing a quarter of the business that you were, even less than that, that you were doing in season. And Lori, you would know. So I know it's a challenge for that because summer is very small for visitation, even with families. It's still not what it is in season.
That's never really going to change.
No,
That
it's not,
that's-
Barbara.
That's
That's
just,
right. Yeah.
that's less of an obstacle than it is a lack of awareness
Right.
about the realities of
And
this
I
island.
think that, you know, these challenges and everything are really, we need to stay focused to the facilities that we're talking about, Mound House and Newton. So what would be our challenges for the Mound House and what for Newton? So let's put those in because they're going to be looking at all of the other ones and it's good to put in. But, you know, the challenges that we've had, all of those for the island go towards us because we were affected by all of them. But if there's any specific things, to me, it's just the lack of marketing and lack of getting
better
information
brown
out.
signs.
Yeah, we just don't have the ability to get the word out in all the venues that I would like to see. So it's, you know, having people write information and sending it out for the special interest stories and having, you know, we had NBC2 come out and do some stuff on the water quality, but why can't they come out and do something on our preservation event? I mean, those kind of things, people do watch those segments. I mean, I did them a lot at my last job, and you do get some participants that will sign up for a program, and I just think all that really together, collaboratively, really makes a difference.
Thoughts about what are our challenges? What are our challenges at the Mound House or the challenges at the Newton Park. I mean, one immediate challenge that comes to mind is this consistent road construction in front of Newton.
That's what I said.
What is up
Everything,
with that? I mean,
everything that you
it's never
said
ending.
relates to us, that you just said about the island. So I'm just saying, if you think of something particular, but yes, you're right, Barbara.
What is going on in front of Newton?
So we've got a couple things going on. We've got the road construction going on, heavy, heavy right there. And then we have the restroom renovation going on.
Well, that I know, yeah.
So we have two things.
okay.
Right. Big dumpster, and then you don't know where to pull in. It's
But it's
just,
the sidewalk, they tear it up, I don't know, it's just like.
it's
every
that,
time
it's
you-
just the project. So we're really, really hoping in the next, I don't know, 6 months, that's,
Looks to me like they're working really hard on that stretch. If they could get it done to Williams so that they can open everything up
I know.
by season, that would be fantastic.
Because right in front of Publix doesn't help at all.
Well, and
Yes.
the bricks,
Mess.
Oh, yeah.
the poor bricks took such a beating that now they have to take them back up and put them down again.
I think you
mean,
all did a great
they
job on
can't
number
win.
3. I do. And then that's the island-wide.
It is making progress, but I think it's going to be another 2.5 years before the entire road construction project will be completed. So it's going to have to run its course. I'm still a very strong advocate for amazing signage for Newton Park. And I still remember, this was like 5 years ago, I said, why don't we have a large sign on the beach side? People walk up and down the beach and they have no clue what's going on at Newton Park. And that sign that we have out in front of Newton, that kind of angular thing, it's so common.
Yeah.
It's not a landmark status thing. It just doesn't hold somebody's attention. So I definitely think in terms of visibility, we have great visibility on the beach and on Estero Boulevard. We're not taking full advantage of it.
Yeah, that's a good point, Barbara.
And I think we were looking at a big gateway sign, and then there was some concern about, well, we didn't meet the signage rule
The
established by
ordinance,
the
yeah,
law.
LPA has to
But
approve by, yeah.
Weren't we going to have an exception, or have it some kind of a sign that, even if it didn't have to be, completely tall, I understood that, but have it a massive, have it something with the heft to it.
You can always ask for a exception to that.
variance.
Yeah, and
Right.
we could definitely try to go through that process.
So I'd like to get us on the front burner with that idea again. if
So,
we
but
could.
that's really good. Put that down for the signage, because I think Becky mentioned also Estero. I'm not allowed, I'm not allowed to put a business sign on Estero if you're not directly off Estero.
But the brown signs are there.
The brown signs are there
And can they, one of them is almost hidden by vegetation.
because of the construction, so.
And the construction is, yeah, and that would, but a lot of people turn at the brown sign.
Yes.
I saw the
Becky.
brown sign, that's why I'm
You
here.
notice they're a lot smaller
exactly.
now. We used to have 2-post signs, and I did not replace that. That was something the county did, because they're doing the Estero.
So maybe we can put back our 2-post signs down
The
the
right
road.
of way, it won't fit anymore. There's only enough green space to do a single post, so they did the best they could. If you look at that, I already.
Mural on Veach's garage or something?
Okay, let's see, how would you describe Fort Myers Beach, including what you believe are Fort Myers Beach's distinguishing characteristics?
You
And I
all
think we
talked
did
about
talk about that.
Funky and unique and very colorful.
The
Yeah,
funky
yeah.
and casual and formal,
Relaxed. And beach.
We have a beach, Fort Myers does not.
exactly, right.
I like that. With sugar sand.
It's our beach.
Key West with beaches.
There we go.
There you go. I like
Good.
it.
I like that. That's good.
Key West with beaches. Let's go to number 5 then. What descriptive words would you think sums up Fort Myers Beach, which is more of the same? Funky. Images and colors. Now, I know we have this color on the outside of our town hall. We have that same color scheme on all of those existing signs and banners. Am I hearing that would all be replaced?
I don't know.
We don't know.
I don't know.
So a color scheme, to me, that color scheme really sort of more talked about Arizona than it does Fort Myers Beach. That sort of,
So
I
you
don't know
know
if
there's
that's-
a whole science with color, Mrs. Barber, you know that. So
Right.
I would I would hope that they would leave it up to the experts to
Right.
choose what image is, so then there's a whole science behind that, so.
That's right, exactly. But something that defines tropics.
And sunsets.
And sunsets.
You bet.
And I don't know who came up with the signs for the
I
town
don't-
hall.
I don't
but
either.
I
I
don't
don't-
think that was given enough thought. So
Yeah, I don't
I would
know
like
who
for
that was.
the science of color to be adapted
It's really
to-
fascinating. I mean, if I would have had another career, I think I would have. I just think it's really interesting. There's a psychology and a whole science behind those things. It's really interesting.
Seal, did you have a thought?
No, forget it.
Okay, all right.
Just forget it.
If you all have thoughts as we're talking, please speak up, so I know that you have, valuable input, and this is the time to provide it. How do you think or hear other people describe Fort Myers Beach?
Oh, Sherry, you want to share?
Yeah, this is going to sound terrible and unfortunate, but just in travels and, people with the airlines and stuff like that, when you mention that they come to Fort Myers and they for the islands, I have heard us referred to as the working man's beach and the poor beach. Or blue collar beach.
Or someone said to me, it's not address. Sanibel is address, Naples is address. Fort Myers Beach is not address. That's what they said.
Which is what makes us funky and
I know.
interesting and not stilted and.
Exactly.
Exactly.
But we need to distinguish ourselves somehow.
One of the most beautiful things that I always tell people that I love, it's that it's a barrier island.
Yes.
It's an island, and if you live on an island, what do you think about when people say that, oh, I'd love to just go to an island? And that's what we are. So that word, I think, is very important.
I agree, Seal, absolutely. And that's one of the things that makes it, Naples is not a beach. I mean, it's not an island. It has a
No,
beach,
it's
but it's
not.
not an island. Barrier Island for Sanibel is certainly appropriate, but they don't have the accessibility, as Cindy pointed out, with the publicly accessible beaches. So we do have that uniqueness about us, agreed. And
I
the
don't have a
fact that it's
problem with working-
democratic
I'm sorry.
environment. It is, it's just really, yeah, I suppose you could call it like the working man's island, but what the heck is wrong with that?
But, yeah.
Not with our new mega mansions.
With-
Yeah,
that's it,
it's
and,
not,
you know,
I was
think-
going to say, it's changing a lot. but
Well, I
that's
can
what
tell you,
hear.
I lived for 15 years on Sanibel Island. I lived for 7 years in Naples. I'm here now, and I can tell you, it is a question of time. It's just only a question of time between us being in the middle of all of that development, and you saw what happened with Bonita Beach over the last 15 years, and you see what's happening on Fort Myers Beach already. It won't be this way long. So I think what we need to do is somehow preserve that funkiness so we can still be set apart from both Sanibel and Naples. And this is the place I prefer to be.
I think there are more
Having lived
working
in both
people,
places.
more working people,
Right.
more blue-collar people. I mean, gosh, I just wouldn't be comfortable in those other places.
That's a good word, comfortable. Here, you're comfortable. That's a very good word.
I think a lot of us, deliberately made that decision. I initially definitely wanted Sanibel, but I liked Fort Myers
Exactly.
Beach a lot better. And Naples, no, thank you. But that's who we are.
Yeah.
And we really don't want to lose it, but I'm afraid it may already be too late.
Chic.
Yeah, right.
It's a schizophrenic personality.
Exactly.
Take John a couple of those. Okay. All right.
Bye, Catherine. Bye.
Bye, Catherine. Positive feelings, I think we really have covered some of the positive feelings. Do you agree?
I think the people, I don't think we've talked about the people, but you know, we have these committees, advisory committees for the town, which bring a whole lot more input into what is going on in the town. We have, we have lots of volunteers and docents at the Mound House and many other places where people can volunteer. We have involved people, and that's a big thing.
Community involvement is,
Who can get up in public comment and vent?
Yeah, maybe just in surrounding towns.
Indeed.
But eclectic.
Yes,
Oh, I like it.
absolutely. So you see a pickup truck next to a Mercedes in the,
exactly.
in the next door house, right?
As long as,
That's
or the
right.
In the
company,
same
as long
house.
as that truck doesn't have a sign on it, it's okay.
And what might that truck need to say, Becky? And-
Well, you can't have a business sign on the truck
Oh,
if that person lives there. I mean, that's usually condo rules.
oh, condo rules. Is that all the same thing for residences as well?
no notes, no
Okay.
notes.
There's a school bus that's parked in front of my house, not my house, but around the corner on Shell Mound Boulevard. What the heck is that? I know, right?
You know,
Not in my neighborhood.
But it's been there for some time.
I know. I keep
I
thinking
have it
that.
because he's backed in and, you know.
Oh, it's not a working Fort Lee
I think
County
they're
school
done.
bus?
I don't
I'm
know.
gonna show
I
the
have no
strategic
idea.
plan.
I don't know
Okay,
where
okay.
it's come
Our
from.
good number 9.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other ideas?
How about
I
number,
have to tell you, you're talking about the people, Becky, and you bring up a really good point, because we're talking about, obviously, all of the entities like Newton Park and Mound House, but it's the people that come to these places, or the people that are attracted to coming to Fort Myers in the first place, that is really sort of this conversation that we're having. You know, who were we drawing to live here and to play here? So it seems to me, one of the things that I love about Fort Myers Beach is, regardless of whether I come from the south part of the island or come over the bridge, regardless of what time of day or night, regardless of the season, I'll always find people on Estero Boulevard enjoying themselves. Couples holding hands, families walking their dogs or their children on a stroller, groups of young people during spring break or any other time of year. That sense of community, that sense of humanity in all walks of life being together is, I think, a very unique part of what our island is. I have never seen that in any other part. I mean, maybe Key West. But you wouldn't find that on Sanibel. You wouldn't find that in, Sanibel's not a walkable community. It's not a pedestrian-friendly community. And that's the way they want it. It's a very remote place.
good for
I was
biking?
starting to see it in downtown Fort Myers.
You
way
can't
down
bike on the
on
beach.
certain nights.
No, but if you stay on the bike paths,
Right, yeah, you have
Then
to
you're
stay in
okay.
your little corridor.
yep,
And not venture.
That's where you are.
Exactly.
Put
They
you in that
a little-
box.
In that box, exactly.
I have never lived any place where there have so many fundraisers. And I don't,
Don't put that in.
no, but I don't mean for fundraisers for, Mount House things. If there's someone ill or a waitress or something else, it's the community pitches in. I mean, I've never seen such a thing. People will go to a dinner or something that have never even gone in that restaurant if they hear that it's in the Observer or the Sandpaper. Now, that's
It's a
amazing.
working community, and these are working people that oftentimes don't have adequate funds. And their friends are trying, yeah. When you have visitors, where's the first place you take them? Well, we know what you're saying there.
Exactly.
There's no contest there, right? Right.
Exactly.
Are we all agreed? I think we're pretty unanimous on that one. Do you think that adequately covers some of the
I do.
concerns that we have?
I was going to share the strategic plan with them for Newton and Mound House so they can kind of see where we are and where we're going and kind of, We did really great, like you just did, our obstacles and challenges when we did that session. So I think that's all good information. I think you guys did a great job.
All right, I think I have my marching orders for our meeting next week, and then I will share your thoughts with the PR group. Board member items and reports, beginning with Lori. Anything to report?
No, not today.
Okay, thank you, Lori. Betty?
I'm good. I think we're going to be very busy next week.
Yes, you and I both are. It's true.
So, but look forward to it.
Yeah, me too.
And we've been asking for this. And they have provided that opportunity.
Exciting times ahead.
Yes. So,
Sherry?
thank you.
I have nothing.
Okay.
Well, I must say, because I am very much impressed, and I'm sure all of you all know, but there is a training program going on at the Mound House for the docents, and it's 8 hours, and it's an hour on each day, and if this will give you accreditation to be a docent, which makes you really feel very special, but it's done with such professionalism. Each one, they've got a certain time, whether it's Katie Beth, whether it's Webster, Dexter, not Webster, Dexter, don't tell him that. I have learned so much, but it's done in such a way, and we intermingle with each other to bring up subjects, you know, that we, for all the years I've been a docent, of useful information. But I am impressed with the program.
Thank you, Sue. I'll let them know.
How many docents do you have now?
I'm not sure.
But you have enough to cover everything?
Never enough.
This time of year is very, very hard, Cindy, because we don't have, people who are just back are back and they're not able to come volunteer. So between now and the end of the year is usually, so we could always use help usually for that.
I think we had 8.
There was one this afternoon and there's one at 9 o'clock tomorrow. Rachel from FPAN was speaking on archaeology today.
It was one today?
Yes.
Oh, I couldn't have gone anyway.
No, you couldn't have.
Right, but there's one tomorrow
This
at
is
2.
this is the first, you know,
at 9
it's kind of a, it's not a pilot, but it's our first one. So we'll be gathering information, changing, you know, improving as we go through, but they wanted to do one outside season to kind of get some good information from you all to see how it can be improved.
Is there another one coming up?
Yes, in
Yeah,
January.
In January, good.
Excellent.
Am I understanding too that while we were looking at having a guide published, right, you know, for the museum guide, that's not to be part of this marketing and PR thing, or is it? No, okay, just want to
It's
make
a
sure
separate,
that that's
yeah.
not something that they're
Right.
going to be responsible for.
Correct.
We're handling that.
Yes, correct, Barbara.
Okay, thank you.
Becky?
Got nothing.
Nothing? Cindy?
I'm just happy to be back, this funky little place, and I don't know how
would
many,
have to
I don't know how many of you noticed that just on October 16th, Allison had 3 different major events going on at the Mountain House. And how she
great
was
day.
stretched, but I mean,
was a
3
good
different events, and they were not little events, so she's just
Oh,
the
that was
Energizer Bunny.
like my dream day at the
Oh,
Mound House.
good.
It just, I would love to have more of those days. That's the way I think it could be used. It's still so underutilized, nobody's fault, but just as we're growing, it was phenomenal.
2 meals, you did 2 meals?
The dinner and then the box lunch
Yeah.
for a group tour, and then we had the Archaeological Conservancy do a boat tour to Mound Key. It was wonderful. It
Love
was,
that you called it your dream day.
great.
That
Oh,
is
it
so awesome. And you
was.
said, how did you do it? She
Yeah.
said,
oh,
like
it
that. Yeah, right?
was. It was
Awesome.
But the other
wonderful.
thing, she had the teachers there, and all of these things were in a bag, and as they left, a pink one went by, a green one, and a red one. They were so proud of those bags. I tell you, you know, it looks so cute, them just walking
All
down.
the, all the pretty colors.
You know, the other thing, they had food. I think that was your idea for this teacher science teachers or
Yeah,
something?
it was the environmental educators of Lee County that actually came. So
And-
they're all educators.
And they were impressed.
Yes.
But
and
they also
so-
said, nobody ever feeds us.
Yes.
wow.
So Penny got them those sandwich meals from Publix, because the meeting was from like 5:30 to 7:30.
I know,
I mean, they needed to, and you're a teacher, you're
You got
up
no
at-
time to go to the
yeah.
bathroom during your workday.
So that was, Penny Jarrett did a beautiful job orchestrating and getting all that. That was her all the way. That was one of her goals, and she did a fantastic job. She really did. We're excited to have them on our
They're all
property.
coming back with their families and maybe with their
And with their
If
students.
they can work the finances.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we're all through with our board reports and comments, and there's no public to comment. And so let's set our future meeting date. Now, do understand that last time we met, we just talked about only having quarterly meetings, but we're sort of in the middle of this marketing PR branding thing. Do you want to hear a report back from our PR people before, what would that be, February? October, November, December, January, February. It'd be February if we were going to do quarterly meetings. No, actually, January. Are you suggesting to meet in January? These guys are going to be working at this for the next 6 months, I'm
I'll
understanding.
have to confirm that with the town manager. I don't remember the details, but they are going to be working on this throughout the fiscal year.
Okay, so it's not, unless you feel, Allison, that we've got business to conduct from our CELCAB board, beyond what's going on with marketing and PR, how do you all feel about having our meeting in January?
Because it's Thanksgiving and then it's the day after Christmas,
and-
so.
yeah.
we're-
I don't think there's any board action, actually, that's required from our group that requires a meeting. So let's look at January.
January 23rd?
Mhm.
Okay.
Does that work for you?
That's good, yeah.
Great. January 23rd at 3 p.m. All
And
right.
if she ever needs us,
Oh, I will
Oh, yeah,
definitely
let us
reach
know.
out.
Yeah.
that's
Also,
why we have those.
yeah.
Exactly.
Also, too, in December, we have the big market coming up, just so everyone's aware of it.
Christmas
Yes.
market.
I believe it's the 14th, December 14th, so we
14th.
need everybody's help on that,
Right.
so.
And then do a Christmas tree.
Oh, yes, and if anybody has any, I'm in charge of the Christmas tree again this year, so I'm open for suggestions from anybody.
I'll
We
watch.
need your suggestions,
Yes.
but I'll help.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same here.
Thank you, okay.
I'll help, Sharon.
Well, you want to make decorations?
Sure.
No, I'm getting some ideas.
Good.
Yeah.
All right, a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right, thank you, Becky. In favor? Betty, second. All in
Okay.
favor? Aye. Meeting adjourned, and it is 4:25. Thank you all very much. Good meeting.
Love her. She looks like, she looks a little pale, though. That was a good name. Oh, I wanted to tell you how beautiful you look, and I love the way your earrings match your outfit. You really are so put together. Well, really, you know, because I had surgery this morning. You did? Yes, and that's why I came in with a pain.
Oh, I